This is the unifying the head to the heart, head and the heart. So, what the difference like the joy and pleasure? Pleasure is on and off, like object, subject. People eat good food, the best food, but after a while, you have to stop and the good food change into bad food if you continue the same way. Pleasure is object uh, and what the pleasure, let's see, pleasure, happiness and bliss or joy. So the difference only one is object, pleasure, happiness, more mental, body, mind, and the soul. The soul means the non-stop pleasure. It is in the being like a 5-year old. 5-year-old is uh, very joyful, ecstatic. Even you give a little tiny toy, it's happy. Uh, so because the attention get absorbed in that, and it's like get occupied in that. So then it grows older, the objects change objects. What the bigger toys are, the it get occupied with the clothing, houses, and all those other outer toys. Then grow more older, the thing it was attached start changing, start changing, and it try to find out what is the non-stop pleasure. So, like in if we observe the daily life, we can observe that object, subject, objectivity, subjectivity appears as two, but is all one. Like in the field of science, matter, energy, and also the above is like akasha or the desires, um, spirit. So it's like, or the consciousness, different words, but it gets split. But as long as, like in daily life, if we observe, it appear as three state: waking, sleeping, dreaming, but they are like different waves of the part of the ocean. And what is the ocean? Ocean is unified wholeness, unified oneness. When it goes in the sound sleep, then there is no mind of becoming, thinking, worrying, all that settle down, settle down, settle down. And it does not want any toys. In the sound sleep, in the dead body, you try to give the Kohinoor, the top diamond of the world, or give $1 billion, will it say yes or no? Because it's already blissful state. So what is that decide that I want or I don't want? You give to a dead body $1 billion, what will happen?
You'll bury it.
Hmm?
You'll bury the money with the body.
Huh?
You'll bury it in the ground. That's
Yeah,
all you do with it.
yeah. So like in the sound sleep, there's no mind. So, and that is the ultimate wealth, ultimate, ultimate pleasure, because non-wanting, wanting is the in the similar in the 5-year-old. You try to show the 5-year-old the okay, you give a diamond to the 5-year-old. It will look at it, but the desire is not born. I want or don't want. Neither of the two. So it's, it's very, very, very simple to observe, but our mind is so occupied into fragmented that we cannot see the life, that the moment you feel separate and you get separated, that's where it begins. The mind begins, and mind want again go into no mind. So in the night time, it crawls in the bed, then little bit thinking, more thinking, less thinking, and then it goes in the dream state. In the dream state, then it goes no dream, no think, no dreaming. Dreaming is the thinking with the closed eyes. So automatically everyone, whether wants or not want, meditation is happening. From effort to effortless. And effortless effort is the sound sleep. So it's uh, the life become joyful when you have the balance. And what bring the balance? The pure heart. Pure heart uh, don't get crooked by the crookery of the man-made, whether it is material, spiritual, mental, all kind of mind chatter. So the real joy, the real wealth is being into non-being, where there is already it is. Already it is means in the sound sleep, you don't need to invite someone or invite anything outside. Outside means any object. The very itself. Uh, that's why people are so afraid of dying, and there is no such thing as death and birth. Birth and death appear as like in the ocean. In the ocean, the waves are not separate. The bubbles appear and disappear, but like the dream appear and disappear. Can you invite the yesterday's night dream analyze it. No, it was like a shadow, a ghost, appear and disappear. So is the mind made life, and it also want to stop. Want to stop means when it get over worried, it become a disease and anxiety. So how to put in balance, like objective world can be pleasureful, like the mother gives a toy to the baby, unless it swallows up the very toy. It swallows up is the same way that the life we live, it get obsessed and attached. So where is the problem? Not the objects, but the mind which get swallowed and attached, glued to the dreamy shadow. Then it starts the suffering. Of course, the clever mind invent religions and forms of gods up there, up there in the in the sky. It does not know, it does not want to know because it want to survive in the state of fear. That's the very nature of the thinking, that the more it alive, more it survives. So it's a dual mechanism, wanting, not wanting, and at the same time is perplexed. But all it goes on mean like you observe the ocean, the waves are there. Like the food in daily life. Food can kill you if it gets stuck in the throat or you overeat. What will happen? Not only obese, but you will enter in the black hole. So it's already so-called God or godliness cannot separate from you, but it get covered up. Covered up means like the beautiful weather, the sunlight is covered. Why? Because you are more inside. The same way, thinking, overthinking can become a block to the eagerness here now. Like imagine the blood flow, uh, then the people do bypass surgery. That the physical flow of the blood. The same way The mind gets stuck into the worries, anxiety. That's also a kind of a blockage. And it try to find a way out. But that blockage goes almost whole life. Those people who are worried people, they may be suited, booted, and dressed different way, but inside is blockages. Blockages in the heart chakra and in the head chakra. So, so-called Western life, today's Western life, and most of the people life, not only 80%, 95% are blocked in the blockages, whether it is cardiovascular or mental. Mental is even more because it's such a mechanism of thinking that it enjoys the suffering, the ego, enjoy, create more fear, more fear, more fear, more it survives. And all over, all over means politicians, policemen, preachers, they are good injectors of fears. They have various colors, varieties of injections. They inject you every 2 hours, every hour, all over, all around. TV, newspapers, media, consciously, subconsciously, and what a poor man can do, it get bombarded with the fearful worries, fearful anxieties. But it does not touch the animal kingdom and plant kingdom. And it's not different kingdom, it's only God kingdom, is a holy kingdom. But the pure heart can survive. Pure heart means purity, transparental, transparent, and transcendental state. It does not touch that because, like in the muddy river, suppose so many animals fight, you can't see the clear water. And after it, some time it settled down, then clean water. The same way, mind you can understand as the water, the wave, the water. It become very noisy many times. So now everything already is there. These five elements cannot be separate from you: earth, water, air, fire, ether, akasha. So all that is you. You are it. Tatvam asi. Whatever you are seeking or whatever you can seek is already the case. The problems start when you start changing, changing the world, changing the world. Prior to that, change thyself, look into yourself, and is perfectly perfect. Is not separate than godliness. You cannot separate. You can have illusory illusion. At least you enjoy the dream, enjoy for a while, but unless the nightmare comes, so that also is each moment is the invitation to the hell or heaven. Invitation means good, bad, right, wrong, because thinking makes it so. It's always how simple it is. It, that if you eat poison, what will happen? Sick and die. The same way, if you do wrong thinking, wrong karma, now how to decide? Godliness is there, but you're the one who each moment, yeah, each moment you have the yeah opportunity, opportunity, and you cannot be separate. For example, each moment is the breathing happening. Breathing, when you are worried, your breathing change. Definitely it change. The same way, any disease, indigestion, this or worried, then each moment is affecting body mind. Body mind is like a outer layers of your inner consciousness. But people don't have time and energy left over to understand unless they get stuck. They get stuck and struck by tragedies. And death is another invitation to the reality. It's not a bad thing. It's an invitation that look, you have played enough. Just watch now what is real. What is real means the mind ghost is finished. Mind always becoming from being, separating. I did this, I did that. If you did that, you bring the sunlight here. It give you the idea, the shadow, through the thinking mind. You have question?
Thinking mind. So, uh, of course, we have problems in life, and thinking is a strategy that we all have learned to to solve those problems. So how do we, is that not a good thing? Should we avoid thinking?
No, the that's what we were talking, that observe, watch, observe. That's what we were already talking
Mhm.
just now, that in the
Right.
sound sleep, what happened to the thinking?
It goes away.
So I
So
mean, the like the waves were bigger in the daylight, and when the sound, it slows down and it get absorbed. When the bubble appears, a big bubble, you put a poke in the, where does the bubble go? It doesn't. eh, yeah, where your dream of yesterday, where did it go?
yeah, changed.
It was not there to begin with. It appeared and disappeared like the shadow. That's why the word called reflection,
Mhm.
like the sun and the moon. Moon is the reflection. So that's why the scientists don't see as two, matter and energy.
Yeah.
What do they see? Yeah, what do they see? Not the the two, but as oneness. The sun and the moon is the oneness, not two. So if you see the scientist, what does they see?
What does the scientist
Matter,
observe?
matter and
Yeah.
energy
Uh-huh.
is one, not two. Appear as two.
Mhm.
So this is the very easy, simple question. Who am I? Who am I? Who am- No, honestly, if you cannot understand, you don't need to read books, and that you observe, you watch your daily life, what is happening. The cloud, the thing which don't see clearly, is the cloud, the dust. For example, if you want to see it, suppose you have a smoke on the screen, what will happen? The same way, back, what will happen? Everything is still intact. Hands, feet, everything is there, but you can't see anything. Why? Because the cloud is there, the curtain of the ego, which is more like reflection. And you think, oh, I'm enjoying. This is all story, is all reflection. The real life begins when you die. When you die at the name and form. Actually, the life you call life now is actually dying, because when you get identified to the name and form, already you are going in the black hole toward the, whether take 40 year or 80 year, but you are still slowly doing the journey there. So only the intelligent or the scientist will see that material objects which appear is not different than the subjectivity, the very consciousness. That's how the scripture describe in different ways flesh and bones. Flesh and bones is the carrier, the vehicle, the car you drive is, is that the car or the vehicle is good as a tool but bad as a master. That's what happens in life. The real life cannot be born and die. The time cannot change it. Time, as you know, is the thinking. And thinking is very good as a tool, but very bad as a master. Those are very, very poor people who don't know what is being. It's like even billionaire who don't know what is human being, beingness, they always loaded with worries and anxiety. It has to happen because it's made up of that. What kind of science is that? Like, what kind of science is that where all killing machines going on now? Two people fighting, they both killing each other, but as a consciousness does not change. Only like how can you shoot a reflection? A reflection is a reflection already. So the Sadguru, Kabir, Sadguru, Ramana Maharishi, they were not they were pure science of all times. When even the Nikola Tesla was doing the science of the electricity will be free, energy will be free, and some people try to control because control you can buy and sell. The truth is not for sale. The breathing you are breathing, is that controlled? Is that for sale? Do you can you sell it? The love is not for sale, but the love the human man knows is not love. And whom do you befool? Finally, yourself. Because whenever you cheat anybody or befool anybody, finally it comes back to you with the interest, with the compound interest, because in the form of disease, disease. So you cannot kill anybody because the killer will be killed. One master gives to his student, 5, 10 students, the bird. You kill this bird where nobody sees, and the only one who had pure heart brings back that bird. I could not see because nobody was there around, but I was looking. That is only very few who has uncorruptible heart, because the consciousness is all pervading all the time, because it is beyond the time. It's not in the time. There is no other in that one. And that's the what 5-year-old state it is. There is no other. No other mean no otherness, no separate. You have anything to say?
Amen. So the subject is joy. And how does joy help us um, find um, bliss, I guess? And does then bliss help us find who am I? Is this the progression?
Hmm?
Okay, so we're talking about joy. How do we find joy, a joyful life? And should this lead to a blissful feeling that produces an emptiness of mind and helps us answer the question, who am I? Does it does the search for who am I begin with a blissful life, joyful life?
See, that's what we were talking
Mm-hmm.
already, that
Uh-huh.
the daily life is running around, running around, running around, running around. What are you doing? No matter what, you do this, do that, do that, do that, but finally you crawl in the bed and then you're thinking with the closed eyes, dreaming, dreaming, And after a while, only out of 8 hours, half an hour, you are no body, you are no becoming, you are no thinking. That's where you get the recharged for the next day. Otherwise, if you don't have sound sleep, then you get up, wake up tired. What was that time sound sleep? No becoming, no thinking, no working. And that state, most of the people try to get through going bar, through dance, through this objective things to forget that worried mind. So pleasure is the word they gave, the pleasure is not separate from pain. Pleasure, pain, two different words of the same thing, same activity. They just forget for a while. That's all. Because in the sound sleep, no object can disturb that. You give 5-year-old child the diamond or $1 billion. Will the 5-year-old give a damn care for that? No. Why? Because it's already with the oneness. Yes and no. Are you awake?
Are we awake? Am I awake now, or are we awake in our life?
No, no. Are you understanding or
Oh,
not?
yeah. Here's what I'm hearing, is that one path to find who am I is to live a life of joy. Find what gives you joy in daily life, and this will lead to a blissful experience. Everything else drops away, and we can experience who am I. Is this the message I hear?
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
already talking.
Okay,
That
yeah.
in the sound sleep,
Mhm.
do you want to become enlightened? Do you want to become millionaire? None of those. None of those. Why? Why?
Yeah.
Because you as a ego
Mhm.
don't appear. So it want no wanting. Like a 5-year-old child, you try to give any object, anything. It doesn't. It, knowing and unknowing are both are gone.
Yeah. But don't we have to bring that sleepful state, that dream state,
Ah,
into
yeah. Then
into the
that
conscious?
that's what a 5-year-old is. So when you become 5 to 55, the object have changed, the toys have changed. Not the parrot, but a bigger house, bigger car, but the same toy. 55 is more worried than the 5-year-old. So return to the inward innocence. Innocence means what? Innocence, uncorruptible mind. So people are used to the numbers. They are caught up in the thinking, becoming. All that is basura. Is not becoming, is not reaching somewhere, is returning back to the oneness which already you are, which already is. Watch the cats and dogs. Are they becoming blue and white and Jewish and non Jewish? All that is just drama. That's why the masters like Ramana Maharishi, you don't even chatter too much or words because word confuse you more. The reason where you want to figure out, you want to a formula, you want to figure out in a formula. Most of the people, like, give me a technique, give me a mantra. Anything you do, time made, time bound, circle you around back and back and back. That's why one holy scripture remind, in the kingdom of my Father, the time is no longer. The time is no longer means the blissful state. The most bliss people have in the womb, 9 year old, nine months, they are in ecstasy. Ecstasy means ecstatic, effortless effort. Most of the people are so not worried, but miserable, misery, painful body, painful mind, just decorated walking, but misery, walking statue of misery. Fake smile, fake, all fake. Why? They need to fill some kind of drink or drug or external objective things, because 5 year old is in that innocent state where no objects needed. It's ecstatic already. That's also the quantum living. No subject, no object, all the time, ever time. What is this life? Full of care, not a minute to look and stare. Who said that? William Wordsworth, one poet who could see the life. But he says, what is this life full of care? Not a minute to look and stare. Stare means where the mind stops. You go to Hawaii and or beautiful, so-called beautiful, your mind is blown away. But remember, that's how the state of the realized master all the time, because they are not bound in the time bound. Of course, now people are doing this drug, that drug, that's external, artificial, slow down the mind. But why do you need any external when already it is? Already it is. What it is? The easiness. You cannot be separate from easiness. Okay. Anything else?
Hmm,
Hmm?
I think we got it.
Yeah. See, body, mind, soul has a different quality. Like if I rub two stones, if I rub two bricks, 1 hour, 1 year, keep on rubbing, even 10 years, what will happen?
Rub away the brick.
Will it turn into a mirror?
No.
So man has invented different trick. Oh, I'll become a better person. I do this, I do that. You are already 5 year old, not 5 year old. It's always was, is, will remain the truth itself. But you are overcovered by the crook, clever monkey mind. Now it is important to earn bread because monkey knows how to earn bread. But is that your life? Bread and butter?
The necessities of life are real. They're
Yeah,
not.
of
They're
course.
not. They're not imagination.
Correct, of course. That is the real. But is that the life?
Well, that's what keeps us alive, so that we can live the life.
You know that even the bees, even the bees outside
Mhm.
or the sparrows, they work 9 to 5. They work there. So man has become more retarded in that way.
We didn't get there by accident.
Hmm?
We did not come here by an accident.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
been people who put us here.
See, one poet says, अजगर करे न चाकरी पंछी करे न काम. Hmm?
What's that mean?
What that mean? दास मलुका कह गए सबके दाता राम. What that means is that there is a serpent which is a big snake that never work. Even the birds don't work. But the idea man think it is because of the work I earn bread and butter. Yes, he is right. Nothing wrong with that. But the life is not only feeding the stomach, that is the lower than the lowest level. So, body, mind, soul, that's why when this question, who am I, is not only a mental question, is the pure observation of life. Observation of life, love life, and that answer all the questions, because the answer is not from any other one but from yourself, from itself, is self examination of life. If you like read books and then it is give you some answer but all mental verbiage, like the word bread is not the bread itself,